Hey everybody, welcome back to Northernlion Plays The Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus. 8 wins in a row. Randomed up. Feeling good. It's gonna be a Lazarus? You wouldn't give me 2 Azazels in a row. MS2T, NB6S. You know I'd try? Like Macy Gray's most famous song? Okay, not a good impression. Put that in the old memory banks. Note to self, do not do Macy Gray impersonation. Asterisk, nobody in 2019 remembers who Macy Gray is. Except as the musical guest from the Spider-Man. You know, the Spider-Man. 2002, Samuel Raimi. Tobias Maguire. Don't tell me his name's not Tobias. It's Toby. It's gotta be a short form, right? It's weird, most names out there, you know, they got a long form and a short form. Nicholas, Robert, Michael, Josh, Alex, Mathis. Mathis is named Michael. I am just messing with you. Let me see what's going on in the shop here. To be honest with you, I'm not sure I'm really convinced that I like Spider Mod enough to buy it. Especially when we could get an arcade on the next floor instead. I don't have a name that's short. If anything, I guess, like... Well, I mean, it is short, I guess. But if it's long, or if it has a long form, it's got to be like Ryan. Like, my name is Brian, but you can call me Ryan. But even then, it doesn't really make any sense, right? Because... A, they're 2 different names. B, I resent all Brians, because whenever I go to Starbucks and they're like, can I have your name? I'm like, Ryan. And they're like, Ryan? And I'm like, yeah, that's, you got it. And then when they call it out, they go, iced Americano for Steven? And I look at the cup and it says Brian. And I go, okay, that's me. I'm Steven. Third, it's the same amount of syllables. It's not even really a short form in the whole scheme of things. Beyond the fact that they, you know, are unrelated to begin with. Nod leaf. Well, I do apologize. I apologize for the gods of randomness. All I'm going to say, you know, in the end, it's supposed to be entertainment. Nobody batted an eyelash when I got the keeper twice. Nobody said, oh, I hate when he plays the keeper 2 times in a row. It's just, the, you know, I recognize that I'm the only one that's probably excited about the fact that I got what should be another relatively simple sort of path to victory here. Excuse me? And I just can't hide it. You guys ever think about those songs that you only hear in movie trailers and commercials? So one is, I'm so excited, and I just can't hide it. I'm about to lose control. And then they get a little devilish. Colon, smiling, underscore, imp, colon. And I think I like it. Ooh, ah. Anyway. There's that. There's keep it hot, hot, hot. And then there's like, you know, day bow bow. Everybody's familiar with. Ooh, yeah. I guess they don't really use... well, a lot of songs still, or a lot of movie trailers at least, still use like popular music. But most like big budget movies now just use a down-tempo version of a 1980s pop song pitched into a minor key. I'm looking at you, DC Universe. We still might have an arcade. We do not have an arcade. Hey, it was not at all worth it, but that's alright. Sure, we're out. I mean, the run has been good so far. I got no complaints in that department. Whereas Hazel, I got no complaints in that department. This is not the right way to go. I have to hit you with a PSA, by the way. Oh, I haven't even fought the boss yet. I was gonna say, I was like, why didn't I remember what I got on the deal with the devil? It's because we didn't go to the deal with the devil. You've probably seen, I don't want to say for the last time. Probably go for it? Yeah, let's do it now. A little spooky. You've probably seen 4 Souls for the last time on the NLSS. Or at least, we have to, like, self-police every time we play it, because we just play it too long. Today we played The Binding of Isaac Afterbirth. No, sorry. Today we played Mario Kart 8. I don't know why that snuck into my head instead. Just got Isaac on the brain, I guess. Following that, we played a few games of Four Souls that went really quickly. And we said, you know what? Let's just do one more. We did one more. Took like an hour and a half. It's like, you know, the old joke, it's always in the last place you look. It's like the last Four Souls game is always the longest. Because after you play a long game of Four Souls, you go, I gotta go get something to eat, dude. I'm hungry. That was huge. I'm actually gonna save the Fool card. That's how big that was. Great game. Maybe unsuitable to some extent for the format that we've adhered to on the NLSS, but you know, there's room for some flexibility there. Anyway, all I'm saying is for now, I thought maybe that would keep the Harbinger close. I hope you've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed it. It's one of those games that, like, selfishly, I really enjoy playing. I think it's an easy and fun game to play on the show, but I think it's become a little bit tough to watch for the audience, and I gotta respect that, you know? If the NLSS was a people, I don't know. I sometimes catch a little bit of flack for this, and I accept it because we, you know, there's different schools of thought in the industry for sure. Sometimes people go, if you play what you want, that's when the shows are going to be at their best. That's a very feel-good philosophy that I disagree with a great deal. There's a lot of streamers who, when they play what they want, and I would count myself in that same group. When they play what they want, their streams are worse. And I know that sounds like I'm throwing shade, but it's not. You know, there was a period where I was playing like a ton of Zachtronics games. Now, I love the Zachtronics games, but if I played them on stream, there would be a lot less banter. It's not like I'm even particularly, you know, good at them from a noteworthiness perspective. I don't... you know, the banter would be substantially worse. You get the idea, right? Beyond that, I would play worse at them as well, but that was what I wanted to play in the moment. Those shows would have been bad. It's not, they're not that watchable from an audience perspective. I don't mean any disrespect to Zachtronics by saying that, because those are some of my favorite games of recent years. They're fantastic games. It's a little frustrating to watch other people play them. Another good example, and I hope he doesn't I hope he isn't offended by me saying this, but is Austin, who creates like a delineation between the streams where he plays Dota and the streams where he plays, you know, stuff that is a little bit more like audience focused. Because he plays Dota in what are essentially his off hours. Dude, give me the two-harder. Oh, baby. So good. This is a huge floor. He does like his normal stream, which might be, I don't know, somewhere in the vicinity of 4 to 8 hours or something like that. And then sometimes he's just like, you know what? I'm going to leave, but if I leave, I'm just going to play Dota. So I'm just going to stream Dota. And if you don't want to watch it, that's fine. You already got, you know, your requisite Austin content today. And now, now you can, you know, feel free to go about your day. But I'm going to play Dota for anybody that wants to stick around. I think he does it in a very sensible way. Dude, Pisces is garbage right now. It gave us a 5% fire rate increase, and when we hit an enemy with it, they move in the other direction. We gotta, like, catch them laterally or something. I really think, like, some of the best streams we've ever done have been when I'm playing stuff, not that I necessarily, like, overtly dislike, because I think that can lead to some, you know, bad streams as well, where not everybody's hard set it. But when I have streams where, like, you know, what I wouldn't be playing what I'm playing were it not for the fact that there's an audience, but because there's an audience, you get to that, you know, happy medium. I'm in the interest of, you know, creating a product out there and trying to be entertaining while simultaneously having a good time. I don't consider myself a lifestyle streamer, where I'm just streaming whatever I would have been doing during that time to begin with. But again, now I've said, you know, more than 1,000 words related to my job, and I feel like a shill. So I gotta stop. Well, we will go to our curse room, or our boss trap room. Everything's going a-okay. Plus, I will play more Four Souls. I'll probably just play substantially more of the paper version, you know? It's not paper, it's cardboard, but you get the idea. It's paper magic. The streams, you know, it's 9 hours a week. In my opinion, it should be reserved for more audience-friendly gameplay. That's my 2 cents. You might disagree, but I don't know. Sometimes I see people say, like, if you just stream whatever you want to stream, the stream will be good. And everybody has a big smile on their face because of that, and I'll put on the smile. But in my head, I'm kind of like, you don't know that. I've seen... I agree. If they're playing something they don't want to play, oftentimes the stream ends up being bad. You know, the heart's not in it, like I said. But sometimes when people stream the exact game that they want to play, and everybody's, you know, into different things, but, you know, it's just like a lot of silence while they focus on the game at hand instead of the audience. And, you know, that's most of what I'm on Twitch for, I guess. Just my 2 cents. As always, I don't want to sell out every other content creator on the platform publicly. I'm just joking. Streaming's weird, dude. I will tell you right out of the gate, I am extraordinarily lucky. I'm like, I'm trying to think about it. There's other variety streamers on Twitch, but there's not that many. And the discourse that I've heard is that people are very jealous of variety streamers. Well, I shouldn't say very jealous, like in a way that seems like it's inflating. But, you know, sometimes a lot of people have gotten famous on Twitch because they're good at League, or they're good at Hearthstone, they're good at Dota, etc., etc. And then they go to play other stuff, and like all their viewers... Not all their viewers. A lot of their viewers leave. They get lower view counts than they would otherwise get if they just played their main game. So they have to strike a balance because, you know, that game's not going to probably last forever. You kind of pay it forward by playing a variety of different games. You also play your main game. It's a lot of work. I'm in the enviable position. When I play what I would describe as my main game, Isaac, people in the chat are actively like, we've seen too much of this, please play something else. It's a really, really nice position to be in. I feel like I've got like the inverted problems of people on YouTube and people on Twitch. Like on Twitch, I'm like, man, my audience just keeps wanting me to play fresh games, but I just want to play some of the old stuff I played over and over. And oh, that must be very hard for you, that your audience is very understanding. And then on YouTube, I'm like, man, I want to play some new games, but I gotta knock out this Isaac and Slay the Spire first. I got an audience of dedicated fans who love to fall asleep to me playing this roguelite. Oh, that sounds very hard for you. And see the thing, I'm not complaining. I would say I'm hashtag blessed on that specific scenario. I'm just saying it's a little different relative to the industry at large. I don't know how it happened. I'm literally like, now my head's spinning and I'm like, I don't know how it happened. I don't know, man. In the end of the day, there's a whole lot of ink spilled on Twitter all the time about the best way to handle an industry where, you know, for the most part, you're pretty much just, you start up the camera and you do some talking and you try not to say anything too dumb and you keep the conversational juices flowing and you end up getting extremely deep into a bit that nobody else has really followed along with, not because they're not intelligent enough to process it, but just because the bit doesn't make any sense. It's kind of like, you know, you're trying to say, what do they say when a German philosopher sneezes? A sneech. It's just that it's not that good. I don't know where I'm going here. Dude, does every single room have to have wall masters? Did I miss the patch notes? Alright. I mean, this run's going well so far. I like a run where we can tune out the Isaac-related minutia, focus on having a little bit of a conversational, you know? We're in a good spot right now. It's weird to me as well that we're in... I never would have predicted this for myself. We're in the year 2019. The games... I mean, I love Isaac, and well, I mean, we can count Slay the Spire in this. I'll loop it into the bit. I love Isaac still. New DLC coming out, staying fresh, staying hungry. Trying to get that streak back into the double digits to prove that I can play this game at a middle school level. But the games I'm most excited to stream, a voxel-based survival sim called Minecraft that came out in like the year 2010. And the newest Super Smash Brothers. Smash is so weird for me because the whole time that I was, you know, investing way too many hours into that game as a child, and not just as a child actually, but oh, careful. But in college as well, I had written all that off as time wasted. I mean, the time you spend enjoying yourself is not time wasted, to be fair. But I'd written that off as like just hanging out with the boys, playing some Smash. What I didn't realize is I was actually training for what my job would be like in the year 2008 and 19. Being a slightly, I don't know, actually I feel like I'm markedly above average at Smash. My GSP is consistently sub-elite, which is like just below the top 10%. So it's above average for sure. No, thank you. But also having a conversation and a personality whilst doing it. It's my dream job. It just took, you know, 9 extra years to get here. Someone made a post on my subreddit, said, why does NL hate Leo? Why do birds suddenly appear every time that you're near? You know, there's all sorts of questions that the universe has not seen fit to answer yet, in all of its infinite wisdom. I hate Leo because it's too easy to walk on a skull or a mushroom unintentionally and cause yourself some problems. Any rock-based hazard, basically. And especially when there's items that screw with your hitbox and the visual hitbox that you can see on screen, they get me a little bit twisted up. You know, I can't help but find myself a little bit annoyed at times. So generally speaking, especially once you get bombs, or after you get bombs, which tends to happen pretty early, I prefer to ignore Leo. Just like I ignored that key back there. And instead, you know, just use bombs to blow up anything that might be prudent. But I'll admit that with Leo, you would probably end up getting some things that you wouldn't otherwise get just due to variance and random chance, you know, black markets and whatnot. You'd actually probably take advantage of cracking every rock until you got into it. This is another very fast run. I'm kind of, you know, be careful what you wish for. But I'm wishing for maybe a little bit more of a difficult run on our next run. Because I think we've had it a little bit too easy recently. And, you know, is hard times make strong men? What do soft times make? I think you know the answer. Hey. I say that as a soft man, by the way. I was thinking about it the other day. By the time I was thinking about my parents specifically. By the time my parents were my age, I was like 7 years old. My parents, I mean, in the end, you never know, you know? Was I planned? Was I an accident? I don't really care. They gave me a very, very nice upbringing. But it was on the young side. But they kind of had their stuff together at an early age, so I don't necessarily... it doesn't really matter to me, to be honest. I know that's what someone would say if it did matter to them, but it also doesn't matter. That's also what you would say if it didn't matter to you. So we got ourselves a little... you know, a little quagmire here, a little catch-22, if you will. But they did have me early. Like, my mom was 22, and my dad was 23. And your mom is on my lips. And if she's lucky, I might just give her a little kiss. Eminem. It's called rap music. Look it up, sweetheart. So when they were in their 30s, they were dealing with... or when they were in their, like, the year of their 30, they were... also raising a 7-year-old kid. And I think about it sometimes, I'm like, man, that seems very stressful. It comes up now and then, but kudos to all the parents out there, you know? You did it to yourself, but also simultaneously, kudos, you know? It's take it from a childless adult. Being 30 is not hard necessarily, but, you know, the older you get, the more responsibilities you just tend to acquire normally. So, you know, every year is a little bit harder. They ask a little bit more of you every year than the year that came previous. Maybe that's what the hill is. Everybody's like, oh, you're over the hill. It only gets worse from here. Or maybe when you get over that hill, people stop asking you for progressively more stuff every year. Maybe after your 40th year, they're like, don't call Ryan to help us move. He's got a bad back from powerlifting 800 pounds. Just get some movers instead. Maybe that's the hill. I mean, in general, being over the hill is extremely good. When you're biking and you're over the hill, you're on the downslope. You know what that means? Free momentum. You don't have to pedal. We're not Blue Baby, so I'm going to be slightly reckless. I'm glad I thought about it for a second to figure out how I wanted to handle it. This might not be the right way to do it, but it's the way I'm going to do it nonetheless. But to have, like, you know, my own adult responsibilities on top of, like, literally raising a future adult and dealing with all the stuff that, you know... I mean, I don't know if I had too much drama in my life when I was 7 years old, but, you know, also when you're 7, everything's drama in your life. You know, Bobby yelled at me on the playground, Mom, I'm having trouble tying my shoes. Hey, can you help me read this? It's wild to think. But maybe, I have a theory, not at all, no thank you. Not at all based in any kind of psychological reasoning. You know, I'm a very, I'm honest about the fact that, yeah, I took some psychology classes in high school. That doesn't mean I know, or in university, I should say. Which, I mean, in high school, of course, but in university, that means I basically am a doctor. I'll have you know I took 4 psychology courses. That's right. I got a minor in psychology, but which I think is why I'm so good at handling interpersonal situations on the NLSS. But I digress, and also was clearly being satirical to begin with. Where was I going with this? I think that I have a theory about responsibility, and that's that human beings don't have a limited space for responsibility in their lives. I think responsibility is a muscle that you train, or a muscle that I could even say like grows in response to the situation at hand. Dude, there's... Oh my god, we got it. So, you know, I'm thinking about my parents' situation. Like, they had what I had, but then on top of that... Well, I mean, they didn't have what I have, because they didn't have anonymous 11-year-olds making fun of their Smash Brothers gameplay online. So, I mean, that's kind of like having, like, 8 kids, but... Or 8,000 sometimes. But maybe, you know, it's not like, oh, you know, this is too much responsibility for us. Maybe you just go, hey, we put ourselves in this situation. It's time to, you know, rise to the occasion instead of fall. I can understand that. I don't know, Ruka. What do you think? Yeah, I saw his ear move. He's ready. He wants to be part of the discourse. You know, it's like if you have to wait until you're ready for a task or some kind of response. This is a bad metaphor, because sometimes they're like, you know, wait, I'm not ready. And you're like, well, if you have to wait till you're ready, you're never going to be ready. And you're like, no, seriously, like I only need 4 seconds to tie my shoes and then we can leave. If you have to wait till you're ready, you're never ready. No, I'm not ready to write the exam. It's only the first day of the... If you have to wait till you're ready, you're never ready. That's why idioms are very dumb. But simultaneously, I use them all the time. Boink. But maybe, you know, if you have to wait till you're ready, you ain't ever gonna be... You never had me. You didn't even have your car. Well, we're gonna have an easy victory here. Which is not a surprise, given the, you know, Azazel-y nature of what we got at play here. It's a little bit underwhelming as far as, you know, the puzzle box of this run goes to. I don't know, maybe people look at these episodes as well and they go like, oh man, it's only a 24-minute and 44-second Isaac run. It's the same way, like, whenever I see a hardcore history episode, And I'm like, oh boy, it's 5 hours long. And then 15 minutes in, I'm always like, you know, the length of it, the whole scheme of things, doesn't really matter as much as the fact that, you know, it just exists in the first place, I suppose. I had a terrible sleep last night. I went to bed, you know, later than I would have liked. It was like 1 a.m. I woke up at 5:30 to the sound of my beloved cat throwing up next to me. You know, my bed is very close to the ground level. So I got up and cleaned that up, and then I went to go back to bed, and I looked, and I was like, I didn't clean it up that well, so I went and I got like a wet paper towel. And in the process of which, I got a little cold water on my hand, and my body was like, oh, time to wake up then. I'm like, no body. So then once I had cleaned that up, you know, it took a little while to get back to sleep, and then it felt like my alarm went off 10 seconds later. I'm not saying this to pile on. I'm just saying, you know, hey man, I got problems too, okay? I got woken up early by a pet, and then went back to bed, and, I mean, slept a little bit later than I otherwise would have been able to, but simultaneously, it was an interrupted sleep. What's the best quality of sleep you can get that's interrupted? It's like a 6.5. This indignity will not stand, bro. The lovers? That's what I just said. Jinx, you owe me a soda? Two kinds of people in the world. You say the same thing as somebody else unexpectedly. There's Jinx, you owe me a Coke. Those people are selfish. Other kind of person, great minds think alike. You know what that means? That's a team player. You should hire him. For now, thanks for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed the episode. If you did, click the like button. Helps out a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. See ya!